introduction to computer networks, what they are, and what are the benefits of networking computers together, what are the components of networking computers together. These are some of the things we're going to begin to see. So the purpose of the networking guidelines are as follows. Number one, to assist you in understanding the benefits of networking. To assist you in understanding the benefits of networking, and then to help you place in context the current stage of networking development in your school, in your organization, or wherever you find yourself. Then to assist you in planning the next stage of network development, to provide standard networking models and best practice to students or clients, and then linking computers together to ease communication. Now, also to assist you in network planning organizations, key things which we are going to achieve in this presentation. Then let's first of all see the end from the beginning. I always like you to see the end from the beginning, and this is what I have. What are the applications of computer network? Why do we need to network computers together? What are the benefits? These are some of the things I'm going to be talking about here. Now, number one, it is for the purpose of sharing of resources. Computer networks are necessitated for the purpose of sharing resources. Resources may be in terms of sharing of your printers, sharing of softwares, sharing of files, databases, and all of that. And then why do we need to share? We need to share because resources, normal financial resources available for organizations are quite limited. So in that case, you want to look for a way by which you still want to achieve your purpose in an organization, but at the same time you want to minimize cost. As you are trying to minimize cost, because take for example now you have an office with you have an organization with 10 offices, 10 rooms, for example, and then you have a computer, or to each of those you attach a computer to each of those offices, and you do the same thing. You also attach a printer to each of those offices. So that means you are going to be providing 10 computers, 10 printers to those offices, but you don't want to do that. You just want to provide 10 computers and maybe 2 or 3 printers, depending on the locations of those offices, so that somebody in one room can send document to the printer through their computer, pick the file, use it use it for whatever purpose you want to use it for, update it, and then the updaters when they also find it on that central computer that is archiving that database. The another one is for communication from one computer to another. You want your computer to talk to one another, you have to connect them together. If there is no link, if there is no connection, there is no way those computers can talk to one another in an organization. Then, for the purpose of exchanging data and information, there is a need to network. If you want to exchange data, you want to exchange information. Take for example, you are working in an organization and you have 10 offices as I've described, and then you are all in different rooms. But then you need to communicate to your neighbor, maybe to ask for a particular information which you need to discharge your duty for that day. You don't have to get up on your system. You don't have to pick a telephone to begin to call. You can do everything on your computer, maybe by sending a chat to your next door neighbor. Then if those computers are not connected together, there's no way you can achieve that purpose. So another one is sharing of information over geographically wide areas. If you are in Nigeria, for example, you're collaborating with another friend, maybe in the United States. Another one is connecting with you. Another one also want to connect with you in South Africa, say. Now, if there is no network by which you guys can work together, maybe at the same time, or not necessarily at the same time, there's no way you can share resources and information. So these are one of the key necessity for having computers to come together in a network. Now, what are the components of computer networks? We want to see the components, all the things that you need to network your computers together. Number one, you need 2 or more computers. Before you talk about networking or computers that are networked together, a single computer cannot network itself. No, you need 2 or more computers to come together. And when you're talking about computers, it could be your laptop. Laptop is a computer. It could be your desktop. Desktop is also a computer. Then at the same time as well, not just your computers, your other devices can also connect in that environment within that network. So even your mobile phones can connect in that environment as well. But then the minimum that you need to set up a computer network is 2 computers. And then you can have 3 computers, 4, 5, 20, 30, 50, 100, 1000, and much more. Then you also need cables as links between the computers. You need cables at least to link the computers together. You need cables. We are going to see that there are situations whereby you may not need cable to network to your next door neighbor. You may not need cables to network if you're working from metropolis to metropolis. If you are working from cities to cities, you are working in a country to the other. Because ordinarily, you don't need a cable from your own, then from your computer on your desk that will link directly to the United States. There are ways by which the infrastructure has provided that ease. They have eased that for us. And then we're going to see them before the end of this course. Now, you also need a network interface card, which we refer to as NIC. The network interface card is attached to your computer. The network interface card is attached to your computer. It's like a port on your computer where you can connect your cable to. Your cable is the internet cable that is coming from somewhere. So you need a port on your computer system that can connect that will allow that connector to get into your computer, and that is called a network interface card, abbreviated as NIC. Then you also need software called the operating system to be able to drive all the components, to be able to drive the protocols, to be able to drive the transport protocols, the exchange protocols, and everything working behind the scene that you may not see. Windows is a very good example for operating system, which the majority of us are familiar with. And then we're talking about Windows. We have variants of Windows. We have Windows 10, Windows 7, Windows 95, Windows XP, Windows Millennium, Windows Server, and a lot of that. So those are Windows operating system. We also have another variant of operating system, which is Linux. Linux is a Unix-based operating system, which also has its own variants. We have Mandrake Linux, we have Red Hat Linux, we have Ubuntu Linux, and a host of them like that as well. The Linux operating system. But I'm sure majority of us are familiar with Linux operating system, so that's fine. Now, what are the benefits of networking our computers together? The network provided to the users can be divided into two categories. We have the sharing and we have the connectivity. Now, the sharing resources has to do with types of resources that can be shared. Number one, hardware. A network allows users to share many hardware devices such as printers, like I've explained, modem, fax machines, CD-ROM players, and so on and so forth. So you can share your hardware, not only printers alone. You can share your fax machine, you can share your CD-ROM, you can share your players. I can connect to another office and be sharing their player to play a particular film or to play a particular audio on my own computer. And then you can also share software. Software sharing software resources reduces the cost of software installation, like I've said. It saves space on your hard disk as well. So, when you share software, it can also allow you to save space on your computer, because space is one of the key things we also talk about when we are talking about managing a computer system. Space is one of the key things that is very expensive in computing. The other thing is other benefits of computer networks. Number one, increased speed. Increased speed in the sense of what? You want to share resources. In the past, what people normally do is once you are done with a particular document and then your neighbor needs that same document, all you do is you copy it on a flash or on a floppy disk, copy it, and then go physically to give it to the fellow. That will take a lot of your time. That can take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and much more. But then from your computer system, within a twinkle of an eye, all you need to do is share this resource and drop to your neighbor. You can even drop it in a particular pool where the neighbor can pick it up. So it's increased speed of getting things done. Another one is reduced cost. It can definitely reduce the cost of computing. It can reduce the cost of computing. Take, for example, now that there's a particular document you have stored on the hard drive, or that you have stored on the flash drive, or on the floppy disk, or anything whatsoever, any storage device. And the fellow that actually needs that information is not here with you in your locality, and then you have to travel down to the place. So you package it. After you package it, either you take it there physically by yourself, or you send it through a fast speed mail. As you send it through a fast speed mail, say DHL and what have you, all those ones, or that service provider will take some fee from you. But the computer networking has removed all of that expenses, especially if what you want to share is a soft copy. So all you need to do is from your computer, you can just share, maybe through an email or through a kind of a network. Another one is improved security. If you share your resources from one computer to another remote computer elsewhere with a friend somewhere there, you can improve security, because if you have it on your flash drive, for example, there's a likelihood that it can get damaged before you get to your destination. Another thing is it can even get stolen or get snatched away from you or from your computer. To an extent that can be prevented. Then centralized software management, like I've explained, you can centralize the management of software, such that if you are capturing a particular, maybe you want to capture the details of a given individual, a given set of individuals. As you are capturing the detail from, take for example that the number of people you are capturing about, let's say the census, information about the demographics, information about people in Nigeria, for example, maybe during census. So when you get to the doorstep, you want them to also use their fingerprint to confirm that there are different people that you have counted in that home. And as you are doing that, there should be a central server somewhere, located somewhere, where those information will be archiving, will be meeting. So that way, it can be, different people can be distributed to different corners of Nigeria to capture that information. And as they are capturing from different places, it can straight away go to a central software management, a central database where those information that are being captured will be kept. Where those information will be kept. So these are some of the things that the benefits that computer networking can give you. Another one is electronic mail. Without networking computers together, there was no way we could have been communicating using the electronic mail. The another one is flexible access, to access software here and there, to access the documents here and there, without networking to do that. It's so easy because now you can easily say, oh, let me just pick a document from the Harvard University that is in the public space via your internet. You can, let me just download the material published just yesterday from a particular database. Why? Because there is, the network is in place to enable that. Then disadvantages of computer networks. The installation is quite expensive because to get it installed, you need to pay money. It's quite expensive. But beyond that, the internet, what about the internet connectivity from one country to the other? Firms, organizations, service providers spend money to lay backbones, fiber optics. So from your end as well as the end user, there's also a need for you to incur some startup cost on the cost of installation of your computer networking environment. Then it also requires time for administration. You also need to, if you want to manage it yourself, it will take some of your time. If you even want to employ an administrator, it will also take time of that administrator. So to sit down, to monitor, to configure, and to maintain the network. Because there's a need for you to maintain the network so that at least the network will not be done. And even if peradventure the network is done at a point in time, you also need administrators, network administrators to get it up, to troubleshoot it, and to fix the problem. The another one is it requires failure of server. Server, without your knowing, may be shut down. Maybe by anything, maybe by thunder, maybe by virus somewhere, or by any procedure which you did not plan before. So once you have that failure of the server, that means all other clients making requests from different places will not be able to do that. So you have to fix that. So which is quite time consuming and may also necessitate replacement of that server. So that's another cost by the side. Now they can also have cable faults. If you do not lay your cables very well, there's a likelihood that some people, even maybe when they're just passing, they mistakenly step on that cable and things like that. And then once there is a discommunication, once there is a cut in your cable, automatically the communication cannot go through. Then even if you plant your cables as well in a place where there is noise, the generator is there, or your cable is passing on that generator, you know what that means. There will be interference of signals, and you don't want to. So these are some of the disadvantages you can have. So once you know all of these now, by the time you want to advise an organization, you will know what and what to say, the pros and cons of setting up a network environment. Now, so what is a computer network? It's a system containing any combination of computers, computer terminals, printers, audio or visual display devices, or telephones interconnected by telecommunication equipment or cables to transform or to transmit and receive information is referred to as computer network. So if we look at the diagrammatical representation here, you can see the network diagram here. We have a number of computers. This is a PC, this is another PC, a laptop, this is a server somewhere here, this is a switch. Later you're going to know what a switch is, what routers are, and all of that. This is a router here. This is the internet, and this is a firewall, and a few others. There's a link between this switch and this guy, this computer. There's also a link. This cable is giving this one the link as well, and so on. So there's a device here as well that is communicating to these devices using the wave, using the microwave, using the wireless. So those are some of the things that are referred to as computer network. So summarily, a computer network is a system of combination of computers and other devices such as printers, audio, visuals, telephone to interconnect equipment using cables or wireless devices to transmit and receive information. Now, what are the types of networks available? There are many types of computer networking which are used worldwide. Example as listed. These are some of the examples. Number one, the local area network, which is abbreviated as LAN. We're going to expatiate more on that as we go. Now, we also have the WAN, which is short for wide area network. We have the WLAN, which is wireless local area network. As the name implies, you should know what that means. And then we have the personal area network, which is PAN. We have the storage area network. We have the global area network. We have the metropolitan area network. We have the controller area network. We have the desk area network. We have the virtual private network. Now, let me tell you, all of these networks are defined by their duties, are defined by what they do. They are defined by the scope of what they handle. Take, for example, the local area network is local. It is local to your immediate environment. The wide area network, it is wide enough to accommodate other ones beyond your locality, other computers beyond your immediate environment. Then the WLAN, which is the wireless LAN, it is a local area network that is connected via wireless devices, not necessarily connecting your physical cables, and things like that. The metropolitan area network is within the connections within a given metropolis. And the virtual private network has to do with, you have an organization, you don't want other people to see you, even though it's not within the same locality. It can be from city to cities, but then you want to do in such a way that you are connected within your organizations alone, though it could be intercity and things like that. So it is virtual to your organizations alone. Now, so these are some of the connections here. If you look at the personal area network, that's what you have. You have a laptop here, and then you have other devices that are connected to it for your use. And then you have the local area network. You have your local area network here, and you have computers that are surrounded being provided for within a local area network. And then you have wide area network where you have several LANs connected together within a wide area. If you look at this very closely now, these are a number of about 4 local area networks coming from different organizations. See, these ones are different organizations. This one, organization 1, this one, organization 2, organization 3, organization 4, all departments. So the wide area network now connected those departments or those organizations together in a wider network other than the local. So that's what that means. And if you look at this one as well, this is a MAN, like a metropolitan area network from different metropolises. This LAN is in the metropolis. This other line is in another city. This other one is in another city. This other one. And then the MAN is bringing them together. So these are some of the things. So, and I think I've explained what local area network is the other time. It's take, for example, look at this scenario. This is full local area network, LAN. Let's say this is a school. This is a school local area network. You have user computers connected to that network. You have other users' computers also connected. You have file and print server, CD or multimedia, all those devices you can share connected to your LAN. You also have access to internet contents and learning resources through your server to move out of that local area network. What that is saying is you need a modem or a router to take you out of your network connection. You need a device called a router or a modem to connect you to outside connectivity, which in this case will be seen as the internet. So here you have this can be your cache, your proxy server, your filtering server, your firewall server. So this is like representing a server. So a server is between your router and the school local area network. The school local area network, everybody is requesting for information here and there, but this is the guy that will be responding. We're going to see that as we go on to see other types of networks. So now these are the distinguishing features of LAN, WAN, and MAN. LAN is a short for local area network, and then WAN is a short for wide area network, while MAN is a short for metropolitan area network. If you look at the ownership, who owns what? The ownership of networks, if you look at LAN, it is private, because it's only private to your school, to your unit, or to your organization. Wide area network may be either private or public. You can decide to make it private, you can decide to make it public. And then the metropolitan as well, share the same feature with WAN in this case. It can either be private or public. Then the geographical area covered, if you look at the parameters, now look at the criteria for the classification. The geographical area covered by a LAN is small. But then, what about by a wide area network? It's very, very large because it is a wide area. But for a MAN, which means it's more wider for WAN than MAN. So metropolitan area network is just moderate. It's not small, it's not big, but it's in between. Now, if you look at the design and the maintenance, a LAN is so easy to configure. Now, the other one is I was talking about communication medium. For LAN, what you need is quasar cable, and you need satellite cable for WAN, and then you need also the quasar cable for MAN, and the optical fiber as well, cables, wireless, and every other thing like that. So, and then for your bandwidth, the bandwidth available to learn within LAN environments, local area network environments, is low than what you get in the WAN. It's high in WAN, whereas it's moderate in metropolitan area network. What about data speed and rates? It's high for LAN because it doesn't have to travel too long distance. But for WAN, it's low, and then MAN, it's moderate. So let's move on. Network classifications. We have the peer-to-peer and client server. We have talked about them, but then I'm still going to say, do more to this. Now, peer-to-peer networks are more commonly implemented where less than 10 computers are involved, and where strict security is not necessary. Peer-to-peer networks are more commonly implemented where less than 10 computers. You just want to connect the computers together. What you need is peer-to-peer, just as the name implies. They are mates, they are colleagues. There is none that is senior to the other. They have the same features. They have the same. Nobody is boss over the other. Nobody is the master, and they communicate with each other on an equal footing. Files such as word processing or spreadsheet documents can be shared across the network, and all the computers on the network can share devices such as printers. So there is no senior, there is no master, there is no slave when we're talking about peer-to-peer and network communication. And so this is like an example, a graphical representation of the peer-to-peer networks. If you look at this now, this is a guy, this is a computer, here this is another computer, here this is another computer, this is another computer. So this guy can send information to this guy, can as well send information to this. These are the other end as well can send information to this, and this can also send information bi-directional in any way. So this is what we also have here. A computer here far away the application server, we have the message server, we have the database server. What do we mean by this? There are different. A server is more or less like the name of those servers are given based on what they do. Fine. The file server will keep files that you can request from anywhere. A print server is what you use to handle your printing. A centralized printing server. Application server is also a centralized place where you can access licensed applications, any application whatsoever that is network based. You may not necessarily have to install them on your local computer. All you just need to do is just get a client server. Even your clients may not even be intelligent enough to even have hard disk on your system. There are computers, there are workstations like that do not have processors that